Did you know that 90% of a human's brain capacity is fully developed before the age of 5? Meaning your child's lifelong intelligence is being hardwired right now. Most parents are exhausted trying to find expensive tutors, yet they overlook the bizarrely simple habits that actually trigger neural growth. Today, I am revealing 5 strange daily routines that science proves will supercharge your child's cognitive functions without costing you a single penny. You are about to discover why doing less can actually result in more for your child's future success and mental clarity. Before we dive into these genius-building secrets, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel to join a community of science-based parents dedicated to raising brilliant kids. Habit 1. The power of strategic boredom. Many parents feel guilty the moment their child complains about being bored, but strategic boredom is actually a secret weapon for cognitive development. To do this, simply resist the urge to hand over a tablet or entertain them. Instead, give them a safe space and 0 instructions for 20 minutes. Modern neuroscience shows that when the brain isn't focused on external stimuli, it switches to the default mode network, a state where original ideas and deep creative problem-solving are born. Think of it like a GPS system. If you always provide the turn-by-turn directions, your child's internal map-reading skills will never develop. By allowing them to be bored, you are forcing their brain to scan the horizon and build its own mental entertainment, which is the foundation of high-level innovation. If they aren't forced to think for themselves, the creative muscles in their prefrontal cortex will simply stay dormant. Research indicates that the most brilliant inventors in history often attribute their success to long periods of childhood daydreaming. In short, protecting your child's boredom is the best way to ignite their internal spark of genius and self-reliance. Habit 2. Master the art of reverse questioning. When your child asks a why question, your instinct is to be an encyclopedia, but reverse questioning is far more effective for brain growth. Instead of providing the answer, look them in the eye and warmly ask, "That's a great observation. Why do you think that happens?" This simple shift forces the brain to retrieve stored information, analyze patterns, and synthesize a new logical conclusion on the spot. It is the difference between being a passive consumer of information and an active architect of knowledge. Think of it like a thinking gym. If you lift the weights for your child, they will never get strong. You must let them struggle with the mental weight of the question to build their mental muscles. This technique builds the neural pathways responsible for critical thinking and executive function, which are essential for academic success later in life. You aren't just giving them an answer, you are giving them the tools to find every answer they will ever need. By asking why back, you transform a simple curiosity into a powerful exercise for logical reasoning and self-confidence. Habit 3. The sensory high-speed connection. One of the most ignored habits is allowing children to engage in sensory play by touching varied textures like mud and sand or walking barefoot on grass. To implement this, dedicate time for them to explore the physical world without the fear of getting dirty or messy. Science confirms that the hands and feet have the highest density of nerve endings, and stimulating them sends a fireworks display of signals to the somatosensory cortex. This sensory input is vital because it creates a richer, more detailed map of the world within the brain's architecture. Imagine your brain is a computer. Sensory play is like upgrading the data cable from an old copper wire to a high-speed fiber optic connection. Without these tactile experiences, the brain's understanding of space, physics, and its own body remains blurry and underdeveloped. It may look like they're just playing with dirt, but they're actually calibrating their brain's sensory processing system for better focus and coordination. In summary, getting messy in nature is a high-tech sensory workout that sharpens your child's perception and cognitive clarity. Habit 4. The nightly memory recall ritual. Every night before bed, replace the standard story time with a memory recall session when you ask your child to narrate the 3 most vivid parts of their day. You should encourage them to include details like smells, sounds, and how they felt during those specific moments. This practice activates the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, which are the regions of the brain responsible for long-term memory storage and emotional regulation. By recounting their day, the child is essentially rewiring their experiences, turning short-term observations into permanent neural connections. Think of this process as filing the cabinet. Without this habit, the day's events are just a messy pile of papers on a desk that eventually get thrown away. By recalling them, the child is neatly organizing their experiences into folders, making it easier to access that intelligence and wisdom in the future. This habit also builds metacognition, or the ability to think about one's own thinking, which is a hallmark of high IQ individuals. Therefore, a 5-minute conversation before sleep is the most efficient way to ensure your child's daily learnings are locked into their long-term memory. Habit 5. Micro decisions for executive command. The final strange habit is giving your child micro decisions, such as choosing between 2 types of vegetables or which route to walk to the park. While these seem like trivial choices to an adult, for a child, they are high-level exercises in executive function and risk assessment. Every time they make a choice, they are stimulating the executive command center of the brain, located in the frontal lobe. This part of the brain is responsible for self-control, planning, and the ability to resist impulsive behavior, all traits of successful leaders. It's like putting your child in the cockpit of a plane. They might not be flying the whole aircraft yet, but they are learning what every button and lever does. If you make every decision for them, that part of their brain stays on autopilot and never develops the strength to take flight on its own. Studies show that children who practice micro decisions early are more likely to exhibit high levels of grit and independence in adulthood. In conclusion, by stepping back and letting them choose, you are hard-coding the neural pathways of leadership and elite intelligence into their developing mind. To recap, raising a brilliant child doesn't require a massive bank account. It requires these 5 intentional habits: strategic boredom, reverse questioning, sensory exploration, memory recall, and micro decision-making. Each of these costs $0 and takes very little time, yet they provide the essential nutrients your child's brain needs to thrive. By incorporating these into your daily routine, you are physically shaping the neural architecture of a genius, building a foundation of communication, emotional strength, and elite problem-solving. Remember, your child's brain is a work in progress, and you are the primary architect. Start one of these habits today, and you will see the impact for a lifetime.